In this video, we're going to cover everything you need to know to get started with vlogging, including how to stop overthinking your vlogs, what equipment to use to make vlogging a lot easier, strategies on how to film engaging vlogs, as well as my step-by-step process on how I organize my files afterwards and brief a video editor on how to edit my vlogs. Now, by the end of this video, my hope is that you'll be way less intimidated by vlogging and you feel confident to at least start. And by the way, this is coming from someone who used to hate vlogging. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the video. The first reason typically is feeling awkward or fear of being judged.
So we are in, oh fuck. I'm shy.
Well, here are 3 things that I want you to remember. Number 1 is that you can start with vlogging privately rather than publicly. A lot of my vlogs when I started out was just at home where I could be myself and I didn't have to worry about strangers watching me. The second thing to remember is that different vlogs exist. A big reason why I was really overwhelmed and didn't start vlogging earlier was because I was comparing myself to people like Casey Neistat or lifestyle vloggers that have been doing it for years, and I couldn't imagine me doing something at the same level of caliber. It wasn't until I realized that there are different types of documentation. It could be as simple as taking pictures of your life and then posting it as a weekly photo dump, which is actually something that I've been doing this year. Another way to vlog is taking little snippets, also known as B-roll, in your life and then putting a voiceover on top. This is behind the scenes of starting a milk tea business with my fiance, episode 10. This is also how I started to get more comfortable with the idea of vlogging. Over on my other company's page, Super Boba, where we're building a milk tea business, as we're building this company, I started taking videos of the different things that were happening, not knowing if the content was even going to be used. And then when I felt like I had enough content, I was like, you know what? I think I can actually speak to this. So that's when I sat down and I wrote a script and I was like, here's behind the scenes of how we found the right matcha for our milk teas. And so I scripted what I wanted to say and then I ran it through ChatGPT to make sure that it was under a minute long. And then we went back and forth and then I was happy with the script. And then I recorded a voiceover using that script, put it into CapCut, and then I started playing with all the footage that I had captured to make sure that it matched my voiceover. So if you want examples, go visit my page at Get Super Boba on Instagram and then go to the Behind the Boba highlights and you're going to be able to see our weekly vlogs and see the evolution of how they've transformed. And I know that this is Instagram, not necessarily YouTube, but this is how I started to get really comfortable with at least documenting my life and posting some sort of vlog. Hello, future Vanessa here. Please ignore the booger that is in my nose. I am not going to refilm that section because it was a lot of value, but yes, there was a bat in the cave. There's even other vlogs that I've seen on YouTube where people don't talk at all and it's just shots of their life with music overlaid on top and then subtitles at the bottom telling the story or explaining what they're doing.
Glad to see you here. I'm Chloe, and this is the story of me finding love.
So all in all, don't compare your first vlog to someone's 100th vlog, and also don't assume that you need to go into the deep end and make a cinematic movie when you can just start with pictures. At the end of the day, what you want to do is get in the habit of at least picking up your phone and documenting your life first. Which leads me to the next thing I want you to remember, and that is you don't have to post it. There's been a lot of times where I've taken footage in my life where I haven't posted at all, mainly because I wanted to get into the habit of picking up my camera and actually taking pictures or videos. Another big reason why people get overwhelmed with vlogging is maybe they don't know what the vlog is going to be about. We watch a lot of videos on YouTube telling you need to tell a story, you need to have a theme. Well, for me, my first vlog this year, I had no theme. I had no idea what the vlog was going to be about.
I have no idea how this video is going to turn out. This is a new thing for me, and I also don't know if what I said is even going to make it in the final video.
I just picked up the camera and recorded everything that was going on in my life. Now, luckily with technology now, such as ChatGPT, it's a lot easier to tell a story through vlogging. And so what I did was I sat down with all of the footage that I took from this trip, which I had no idea how it was all gonna map out. I told ChatGPT all of the main things that happened on this trip, and I worked with ChatGPT to tell the story using the information that I had given it. And so I'm sharing this with you because if you are someone who is vlogging and you didn't pre-plan it or pre-script it and there's no theme, you can use technology to come up with that theme later when you are editing the video, and that is exactly what I I did for my vlog right here where I documented my trip in Hong Kong. I'd also like to chime in and say that a vlog doesn't even need a theme or a story, so I don't want you to feel like you have to have one. I've done vlogs where it's literally just documenting my day and it being like, here's what I did on Monday, here's what I did on Tuesday, here's what I did on Thursday, more of like a week in my life or a day in my life. And so just remember, your first vlog doesn't always have to tell a story. And I think for me, when I first started, I was really overwhelmed and overthinking that a lot. And so I definitely don't want you guys to feel that way by watching this video. I'm just showing you my process on how I came up with my Hong Kong vlog specifically. That looked like I had a theme, but in the moment when I was filming, I literally did not know what the vlog was even gonna be about. Now on the flip side, I've also done vlogs that were pre-planned. For example, I knew that I was gonna be going on this Costa Rica trip with a group of friends. And so I told ChatGPT that here are the main things that I really want to capture, or the main themes that I really want to emulate in the end result of my vlog. What type of shots will I need to make sure I capture on this trip? ChatGPT guided me on what type of shots I needed in order to get the end result before I even started vlogging. Now, regardless if you are someone who wants to do pre-planned vlogs or unplanned vlogs, I want to reassure you that the best thing that you can do is to just document and worry about the planning and the story and all of that later. The third reason why you might be overwhelmed with vlogging is not knowing how to film an engaging vlog. Now, there is one rule of thumb that I learned that helped me so much when I did my first vlog, and that is recognizing that for each scene that you do, try to get these 3 shots: the wide shot, the medium shot, and the close-up shot. By having these 3 shots alone, you're gonna be able to create much more variety for your vlog to make it entertaining for your viewer. It also allows people to feel different things. For example, a wide shot allows people to see your environment, the medium shot allows the person to feel somewhat closer to you as if they're with you, and then the close-up shot allows people to see more detail of what you're doing. By getting these 3 shots, you're already gonna have a lot of range for your video, and you're also gonna be able to overlay music on top to really set the scene. Now, when it comes to music, I'm someone that never really used music in my videos because I was simply so overwhelmed and I didn't want my videos to sound like everyone else's. And a lot of times when I'm online looking for music, it sounds really generic. And so I just avoided music in general until I signed up for Epidemic Sound, the sponsor of today's video. Not only does Epidemic Sound have a huge range of restriction-free music, meaning that if you use these tracks, your video will not be flagged for copyright, but finding music that you actually like has become easier than ever. You can actually search up any mainstream artist or song that you like, and Epidemic Sound will recommend tracks that are restriction-free that you could use. For example, there is this girl group that I really like called XG. They're from Japan, and I was so surprised because my favorite song, Left Right, when I searched it up, they had it in their catalog and they were able to recommend not only similar songs that were pretty much the exact vibe, but even better to use for vlogs and talking head videos. I was genuinely so surprised because I feel like XG is such a niche thing, and so for Epidemic Sound to have them in their catalog just shows me how much range they have in their track selection. You can basically do this for any artist that you can think of. Now, if you are someone who wants to make your vlogs more engaging and showcase your personality a lot more through the music that you're using in your videos, then make sure you click the link in my description box for a free trial of Epidemic Sound. Now, beyond having music in your vlog, if you want to take it to the next level, you also want to consider talking in the video. And I know how scary that can be because sometimes you don't really know what to talk about. And so what I do is if I feel like I have a lot of shots that don't really make sense in the moment, or maybe after I review my footage, I realize that I didn't talk that much, I will then do a voiceover. But my advice is rather than telling people, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this, focus more on what your thoughts are and how you feel, because the audience, they're gonna be able to see what you're doing. You don't have to necessarily narrate that. Now, for example, in my Hong Kong vlog, I was eating with my mom, and even though I did say what restaurant we were at, I'm more so focused on what that moment meant for me because it's been 20 years since my mom's been to Hong Kong, and it was really nice for us to spend quality time together. Afterwards, we met up with my mom for lunch at Mein Hoa Bing. It's been over 20 years since my mom and I have traveled to Hong Kong together, so it was really nice to just hang out and have some quality time together. That's something that a viewer may not know just by looking at the footage alone. Aside from doing voiceovers, you can also consider doing straight talking head videos. Usually this is where I'm maybe rambling about my thoughts, or I have something on my mind that I want to share, or I'm explaining something.
I have no idea how this video is going to turn out.
And then after I'm done doing this, we then have a photo shoot. And when you're doing this, don't worry about rambling too much, because what you can do is you can use editing tools like Descript to really cut out all of the fluff that you've said to make it more concise for the viewer. Not only this, if you feel like you have a talking head video that literally does not get to the point, I want to show you an example of what my fam did that really inspired me.
Everything was going fine until yesterday. If you're wondering what happened, basically I ordered something from Amazon to refresh my hair, and then I ended up putting it in my hair, but I was being really lazy with it, and it came out looking really orange and splotchy, and then I was like, you know what, it's gonna fix this if I just do it one more time. Clearly it did not fix it.
As you can see, what she basically did was she just let herself talk and run on, but she actually did a voiceover to explain what she was talking about in a more concise way. Now I'm showing you these examples because I don't want you to overthink talking in your video, and just know when you're editing the video, you can always sort it out and clean it up. Not to mention, if you are someone who wants to get into vlogging, my biggest recommendation is to study other people's vlogs. I'm someone who doesn't actually watch a lot of vlogs until I started vlogging myself. And that's how I even knew that my fam did that little hack when she was rambling in her video. Now I'm gonna walk through all of the tools that I personally use to bring my Hong Kong vlog to life as an example. The first one is my iPhone. For me, I like using the back camera of my iPhone at 0.5x so that it zooms out and you can see my environment. And I also make sure that my settings are set to 4K 30 frames per second. Now, if you want a smoother shot, you can increase it to 60 frames per second, but just remember that when you film in 4K and the higher the frames per second, it's gonna take up more memory on your phone. Now, when it comes to the microphone for iPhone, I don't really use a microphone, but what I do is if I have a clip, I will load it into my favorite editing tool, Descript, and I will turn on studio sound. So let me show you an example of how the studio sound feature cleans up the background noise and enhances the audio. Here's an example of me talking. There is background noise, but let's see what Descript can do. Here's an example of me talking. There is background noise, but let's see what Descript can do. Now, the reason why I use my iPhone the most is because all of my other tools like the DJI Osmo Pocket or the Meta Ray-Bans, I don't always remember to bring it with me, whereas my iPhone is with me all the time. And it's so easy to just capture memory right then and there. This is my primary vlogging camera. Now, I know I said I use the iPhone the most, but why I like the DJI Osmo Pocket or having a dedicated vlogging camera is because I don't want to take up all the memory on my phone. With the DJI Osmo Pocket, as a start, I bought the Creator Combo. Now, the Creator Combo comes with things like a tripod stand, an external battery pack, which is so important when you're vlogging because vlogging can take up a lot of battery space, a wide angle lens so you're able to see more of your background, an extender where you can actually put attachments right here, such as a tripod. And the biggest reason why I think the Creator Combo is worth it is because it comes with a microphone. But here's the thing, even as someone who bought the Creator Combo, I still didn't really use my DJI Osmo Pocket that much until I bought the Ulanzi cage. Now, this is an attachment that you could put on your DJI Osmo Pocket just like this. And the reason why I like it is because I can put a wrist strap, and this has allowed me to be a lot more mobile when vlogging. And it's actually allowed me to capture more content on the go because I don't have to reach for my purse and bring out the Osmo and turn it on and all of those things. It's just hanging on my wrist. The next reason why I love the Ulanzi cage is there is an actual slot right here where you can put different attachments on. But what I found is it fits the DJI Osmo microphone perfectly. So it slides right in. And that way I have the microphone with me at all times. On the back here of the Ulanzi cage, there's also an area here where you can put another attachment. Now, I actually have the Instago 360, which is a really popular vlogging camera. I actually don't like this camera. I think it's kind of gimmicky. I don't like how it doesn't film in 4K. I much prefer the DJI Osmo Pocket. The one good thing that came out of this is in the Insta360 Go, there's actually an attachment here that is a sticky attachment. And what I did was I took it off and then I put it at the back of my DJI Osmo Pocket. Now I'm able to stick my DJI Osmo Pocket onto any surface. Now, be careful when you do this though, because if it's not sticky enough, your DJI Osmo Pocket will drop. And so that's why I carry wet wipes with me to make sure it is really clean and it's super sticky. Now, I have seen people with a similar attachment to this one, except it's magnetic. So make sure you check out the link in my description box where I show all the different options, including the ones that I've already shown you. Now, I know that the DJI Creator Combo comes with this tripod right here, which I initially really liked, but over time I noticed that it was kind of bulky. I don't really like how it adds more length to my DJI Osmo Pocket, which makes me less likely to vlog with it. And so what I did was with the extension pack that comes with the creator combo. I put it here, and then I went on Amazon and I got this little stand. It's literally less than $10 on Amazon. And then I put it on the bottom, and now I have a really solid base to put my DJI Osmo Pocket on. The next attachment that I use a lot for my DJI Osmo Pocket is the wide angle lens right here, which I will then just snap on. As someone with short arms, I really appreciate having the wide angle lens because sometimes I feel like when I'm vlogging without it, the shot is just a bit too tight for my comfort. And that was another reason why I wasn't picking up my DJI Osmo Pocket as much as I was my iPhone on 0.5x zoom. If you are a solo vlogger and you have no one helping you to get your shots, with the face detection, it is game changing. But beyond that, if you actually use the attachment, you can put this on any tripod. And what I didn't know is with my iPhone tripod, all I had to do was take out the iPhone attachment, screw my DJI Osmo Pocket in, and now I literally have a tripod that follows me around because of the DJI Osmo Pocket. Now, if you want to take it a step further, because I recognize that you may not be able to carry a tripod around when you are traveling, this has also been really game changing, which is the small rig magic arm. With the extender, which has the bottom where you can put a tripod on, you then want to screw the DJI Osmo Pocket to the magic arm. And basically this is an arm that can manipulate itself into any shape, secure the shape that you want, and then you can basically attach this to any surface. I put this on my luggage, I've put this in the car, you could put it in the plane. You can get really interesting shots with this, and the best part is this actually fits my purse. Now, if you are someone who is debating buying the DJI Osmo Pocket, or maybe you already have the DJI Osmo Pocket and you want to use it for vlogging, my biggest recommendation is to really invest in a good SD card. I use the 1 terabyte from SanDisk Extreme. I'll link everything in my description box below. But the thing is, with vlogging, it does take up a lot of footage because sometimes you may be recording a full-blown conversation not knowing how you're going to use it. So you may be stuck with 20-minute clips. And so you really want to invest in an SD card. Now, if you are someone who doesn't necessarily want to take up a lot of space, a really great feature on the DJI Osmo Pocket is the hyperlapse feature. That way it just speeds up everything you're doing so that you can save some space. So that is one key hack that you can consider doing for your vlogs if you already know that you're not going to be showing what you're doing naturally and you just want to speed it up anyway. Now, before I talk about some other extra vlogging gear that I use, if you are someone that wants a dedicated video about the DJI Osmo Pocket and how I use it, including the other accessories I have, as well as my settings and different hacks and ways that I use the DJI Osmo Pocket app, then make sure you like this video and comment below to let me know, and I will definitely make that video for you. The next tool I want to show you that has been very handy for vlogging specifically are my Meta Ray-Bans. Now, these are actually sunglasses that take photo and video. Now, I have the transitional lens. I'll link it in my description box below. But basically, when I'm indoors, the lens is clear, and when I'm outdoors in the sun, it turns into sunglasses, which I really like. Now, with the click of the button, you can see I am filming this video and you can see my point of view. Now, these Meta Ray-Bans can film up to 3 minutes of footage. The one thing you want to be aware of is that it does only film in vertical. But personally, I found this to be really helpful, specifically for my milk tea business, where we are visiting factories, having a lot of meetings with our suppliers, and I don't want them to feel uncomfortable with a big camera in front of their faces. And so what I'll do is I'll just film the video with my Meta Ray-Bans, and that way everyone can feel comfortable and I can still document what I'm doing. Now, the last piece of equipment that I think is really important for vlogging, especially if you're thinking of vlogging a lot more, is an external SSD card. Now, I have the Samsung one T7. What this basically does is when you start vlogging a lot, it's going to naturally take up a lot of space, whether it's on your iPhone or on your computer. Yes, it lives on your camera, but eventually you're gonna have to load it into your computer, and that's gonna take up a lot of space. Whereas when you actually plug this in, you're able to transfer the files from your camera to this instead. I also noticed that people use external SSDs to free up iPhone storage as well. So if you have a really big video, rather than waiting to airdrop it, you can just plug your external SSD into your iPhone and then transfer it that way. Now, one thing that I experienced after filming my vlog is feeling incredibly overwhelmed with what to do with all of the footage, especially when I did my Hong Kong vlog, which was completely unplanned. I had no idea what the footage was going to lead to. I just knew I had a lot of footage. And for a while, I didn't even want to work on the vlog because I was that overwhelmed. And so I want to walk through my process on how I cleaned it up and actually came up with a pretty decent vlog, even though I had over 500 clips of footage. First, what I did is I ran to ChatGPT with my overwhelm and I started brain dumping everything that happened on my trip that I felt was significant. I then asked ChatGPT to help me craft the story, which then made me feel a lot better with the direction of the vlog. Next, what I did was I transferred all of my files from my DJI Osmo Pocket and my iPhone and my Meta Ray-Bans to my external SSD card. Afterwards, I went on frame.io, which is the platform I use to organize all of my files and communicate with my video editor. I created a project, but specifically I used the storyboard template. So what happens is when you click the storyboard template and you create a new project, you're gonna be able to see all of your assets, and this is just an example. But what's cool is you can also put the location that you have for each scene. So if you wanna filter it by location, you can, and you can just type anything. So for example, I could say office, let's say. And then when you go into storyboard location, it's going to filter all of the different locations for your clips. So that's really helpful. You could also do a storyboard by scene, which is what I did for my Hong Kong vlog, which I'll show you later in this video. But basically you can number the different scenes that you have. And when you go to storyboard shot by scene, it's now going to filter all of your scenes within those different sections. So that way you're able to really filter and narrow down which clips you want to use for what scene in your vlog. There are definitely a lot of other options that you can filter through, but with this template, what I find to be most helpful is the storyboard shot by scene, storyboard running order, which then shows everything that you have in chronological order, and of course, storyboard location if you want to organize your footage by location. Now, as someone who works with a video editor, I wanted to make sure that my editor was efficient and wasn't necessarily downloading all 500 clips from my trip because that's just simply unfair. And so what I did was any video that I felt I really wanted in the vlog, I would rate it 5 stars. That was an easy way for my video editor to see which clips were the most important to feature in my vlog. But beyond that, I worked with ChatGPT to figure out the flow of my vlog, and then I labeled each section of my vlog by number. So for example, the intro was section 1, and then the scene where I'm at the airport was section 2, then the scene where I arrived to Hong Kong was section 3, so on and so forth. From there, I started reviewing all of my footage and I started numbering all of the shots in frame.io. And the best part is if you are using this template with frame.io, it's gonna automatically filter everything so that whoever's editing your video, even if it's yourself, you're gonna be able to clearly see all of the scenes that you want for each section of your video. This allowed me to really focus on the footage that I really wanted to make it into the vlog and also not overwhelm my video editor or myself. Now, if my video editor felt like the scenes I selected wasn't enough for her to craft the vlog itself, then she could easily go to the section where it says storyboard running order, which shows all of the clips in chronological order. That way she's able to follow along my trip and understand every single thing that I did while I was in Hong Kong. Now, if you are someone who works with a video editor as well, or you're thinking of working with a video editor, then make sure you check out this video where I go even more in depth on how to hire a video editor and how I do the feedback process back and forth with them. And if you are someone who's curious to know how my Hong Kong vlog turned out, especially now that you've seen the behind the scenes of how I put it together, then make sure you click this video right here. As always, guys, I appreciate you. I hope this video helps, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys, and take care.